more in the past decade from genetics than a century of digging up bones. A whole new frontier has opened up. We have our first genetically modified hybrid.
You just went and made a new dinosaur?
Probably not a good idea. Almost 40 feet high. Really think she climbed out?
Depends.
On what?
What kind of dinosaur they cooked up in that lab. Evacuate the island. She's a highly intelligent animal. She will kill anything that moves.
Oh, God.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? It is your boy, D-WIZZLE. Thank you, as always, for tuning back in. This is my special guest, Shannon Geoffrey. This is continuing on with the Jurassic Park series. We talked about the previous 3 Jurassic Park films. If you guys haven't seen that, I'll leave a link in the description below so you guys can watch it. But today, we'll be talking about Jurassic World. That came out in 2015. It is not directed by Steven Spielberg or Joe Johnston this time. It is directed by Colin Trevorrow. Okay, so previously on our Jurassic Park series, we loved the first Jurassic Park. It's one of our favorite films of all time. The Lost World was a huge disappointment. Jurassic Park 3, I didn't like at all, and almost maybe not want to watch another Jurassic Park film again, but she enjoyed it quite a bit. So the last Jurassic Park film came out in 2001, and we didn't see anything from it for quite a while. And then out of nowhere, they just announced another Jurassic Park film coming out. It's going to be called Jurassic World this time, and I was pretty shocked that they were going to do another one after so long. It's like about 10 years since between 3 and World. And I'm like, who was really wanting to see Jurassic Park again after what happened in 3? So, but
I loved it.
Yeah, I was still pretty interested to see what they were going to do. Chris Pratt was going to be in the movie. He was coming off of his TV show, Parks and Rec, and also coming off of Guardians of the Galaxy, becoming a household name there. So I was excited to see him be in the movie. I'm a big fan of Bryce Dallas Howard, one of the best actresses out there. Mm-hmm. So I saw the trailer for this movie, and I was lukewarm about it. I mean, it didn't look awful, but I was like, I don't know about this. I was excited that they have the park open. So that's something we haven't seen. That's something I wanted from the previous 2 sequels, but they didn't give it to me. But now they're showing that the park is open. I was like, okay, cool. So the only thing I was like kind of like apprehensive on is like, are they going to explain how they got the park open after all the accidents that happened with the dinosaurs? And then they're telling us that they created a new dinosaur, modified dinosaur, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then on top of that, you have Chris Pratt having raptors for pets. What in the world? But I was like, okay, we'll see how it goes, I guess. Steven Spielberg was producing this movie too.
He's the executive producer.
Executive producer, so he'll probably have more of a hand in this one than Jurassic Park 3.
Was he the executive producer of 3?
I think he was, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't have much
Yeah.
to say in that one, or if he did, I didn't even notice. Yeah. But so I did see this in the theater. This is the first Jurassic Park movie I've seen in the theaters. I saw it opening night, and when I saw this in the theater, I loved it. I was absolutely entertained by it. I definitely felt the magic that they had in the first film. And I was like, was this so hard? Was it so hard to have the magic of the first film at the very least? Actually have, some fun watching it. Like, so they definitely had that down. But the more I watched it a bunch more times, I got it on Blu-ray, I watched it a few more times, and I'm starting to notice things that kind of irked me a bit. Still some dumb stuff happening in here. So, you guys will probably have to forgive me because I had a hard time putting my thoughts together about this movie. Because, in short, I enjoyed Jurassic World, but I can't say that I loved this movie, and we'll get into some of the thoughts why. But Shannon, what did you think about Jurassic World?
Well, when the trailer first came out, I was really interested, but I was kind of skeptical about it only because it's such a different take on Jurassic Park. Now that the park is finally open, we get to see how Jurassic Park would actually go as planned, and we never got to see that. We got to see Jurassic Park before it opened. We got to see Jurassic Park in like a whole different like location, like dinosaurs moving into an actual city, and then we got to see Jurassic Park in its worst state, in its abandonment in Jurassic Park 3. So this is like, once again, another take on the park and what it would look like if it was open. So I was really excited to like see that finally. And I think, a lot of viewers were actually like okay with it because, it's like, it's what could have been that Jurassic Park. And I think what's really important that Colin did in this movie that I'm like really glad that they did was they added Jurassic Park into Jurassic World. Like, we got to see part of the abandoned park, so that added a bit of nostalgia, along with the doctor. Was it Dr. Wu?
Dr. Wu, yes.
Dr. Wu.
Mm-hmm.
He was in it. He was very involved.
Wong, I'm sorry.
Dr.
Not Wu,
Wong.
it's Wong.
Wu is his name in real life.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah, Henry Wu.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is that so that's like, that's what's really cool is that those two things were in it, as well as Mr. Masrani was friends with Dr. Hammond. So I think that's what was like really cool is how connected it is to Jurassic Park. It's not like a whole new thing. It is very connected. But there are some questions that are major questions that I think people initially forgave because they were so excited to see Jurassic Park once again. But now that, now that it's been a few years and we're like looking over and now there's another movie coming out, we're all like, wait a minute, there are some questions that need to be answered. Like, where the heck is Dr. Grant? Why did he allow Jurassic World to open up after what happened to him in Jurassic Park? He had 2 negative interactions with Jurassic Park. He never had a positive interaction with the park. So why is it that he allowed Jurassic World to, like, I just don't see him as kind of the person who would just hang up his hat and just be like, I'm just going to back down and let the Jurassic World open, And then also, why is it that, the same people who worked on Jurassic Park, even if they are employed with InGen, why is it that those same doctors are okay with making dinosaurs that aren't actual dinosaurs, that are basically genetically modified monsters, So it's just, there are a lot of questions. Also, the raptors were not scary. If I'm being honest, they weren't scary ever because they were so humanized. Like, I loved the raptors. I loved the 4 raptors. There are 4 siblings in my family, so we all like named each other the raptors. But they weren't scary at all. Like in Jurassic Park 3, they were so honorable, I guess. They were so like terrifying that you respected them so much. But like these were, like what you said, they were Chris Pratt's pets, So that's what got me in question. But other than that, like, I did go see it in theaters as well. I saw it with my brother, who was a big dinosaur fan, is a big Jurassic Park fan, who was actually one of the people who got me into the Jurassic Park franchise. He got me this shirt. And so it was so cool to be able to sit next to him, and during that huge fight scene with the raptor and the T-Rex, when they were fighting together against the Indominus, he literally turned into a kid again in the theaters, and I think that was the whole point of Jurassic World. So despite all of those things that left unsaid, I think it was almost okay, because it did do what it was meant to do, which was to bring Jurassic Park back into people's lives and to entertain people once again, especially with people who grew up on it. You know, like, we grew up on it and now we're adults. So it's great that we could see Jurassic Park in a different way, but still, like, see Jurassic Park in theaters and everything. It was just really cool. He was, like, cheering for the raptor and everything. So, yeah, so I think it did do its job. So I was very satisfied, like what you said. I was very satisfied with the overall result.
Uh-huh. So yeah, going off of what Shannon was saying, I guess, yeah, this really feels like a love letter to the original Jurassic Park, and that probably plays a factor to why, you know, we just enjoyed it so much when we were in the theater, because, you know, it just felt like, you know, if that childlike wonder that the first film had, and so many homages to the original, this one actually felt like the direct sequel to the first film. And it's the Lost World and 3, I've said in the previous reviews, felt like something completely different in the same world. It didn't want to connect to anything and have so much inconsistencies with the first movie. But this one, more than the other two, felt like they were trying to tie things that happened with the first movie. Colin Trevorrow, I have to give credit to him, because I felt him out of Joe Johnston and even Spielberg to an extent loves Jurassic Park and want to do it justice. I really wish I could have seen, we all could have seen what he would have done with Star Wars Episode 9, because he was originally supposed to direct Episode 9, but they kicked him off. We'll see how it is now. Hope you do it justice, JJ. But yeah, Colin definitely, I feel, was a good choice for this movie, regardless of some of the concerns that we have with it. This movie gave some of my favorite moments in the entire franchise. Like, just seeing all the people interact in the park full out. It really reminded me of something like Disney World or Universal. I've said in the first review that, you know, I see something like this possibly being tangible, even though it's impossible for you to have dinosaurs in real life. But like seeing a park like this, I can see it happening, and you see it coming to fruition. They even have petting zoos. They have like buildings where they show the different like artifacts and tell you the history of it. They even had the little DNA cartoon and the hologram in the building, like, and they have their own even SeaWorld portion where they have a giant like sea dinosaur do tricks and stuff like that. So all of that, I was jaw dropping. Like, all of this was amazing. They have like these giant spears that, you know, they can be in, so they can interact with the Brachiosaurus in there, you know, in the grassland and stuff like that. That was pretty cool. So there's a lot of amazing things in this movie. And on top of that, I actually like most of the characters again.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Like, yeah.
The kids were so much like the kids in Jurassic Park.
They
too.
were. Zach and Gray. I enjoyed both of them. They reminded me a lot of the kids from the first movie. They weren't annoying, and you didn't feel like they were getting in the way of the story. Chris Pratt, I enjoyed quite a bit. It was strange to see him try to be more of a serious character, because like I said, I just watched him in Guardians, so seeing him be just like this, well, he does have some jokes here and there. He's not completely serious throughout the entire movie, but you know, he's trying to be more of a serious action star with stuff hits the fan, so it just felt kind of strange at the time, but I did enjoy him quite a bit. Bryce Dallas Howard, I liked. I didn't love her. Oh. I'll get into why, but you know, I did enjoy watching her. There was just some stupid stuff with her, which we'll get to later. Yeah, I enjoyed her. I like the chemistry between her and Chris Pratt, even though it's the typical like acting like they don't like each other, but eventually they end up together, kind of, but I found it charming still. Judy Greer, the mother of Zach and Gray, she was fine. I don't like Judy Greer, so I couldn't really care for her that much in the movie. Good thing she's not in it that much. But and they didn't have her do like her stupid comedic bits. Well, okay, there was a few moments where she was talking to Bryce Dallas Howard's character Claire on the phone, and she's just whimpering like, "I just spend time with my kids while I'm having a divorce." Like, oh my gosh.
Well, I know Judy Greer from 13 Going on 30, and she's very good at playing this person that just is so annoying, like so mean and so like manipulative and maniacal. So she plays a mom in this, which is the complete opposite of what I'm used to seeing her in, and she does like this really strange job at crying. And so I just wasn't into that all that much. I think she does like a better job at crying actually, like in the end.
And I think she plays a better mom in Ant-Man. so
I don't know.
I don't know. It's like she could have not been in the movie at all, but she didn't like ruin parts
didn't
for
ruin
me.
it, yeah.
I just could care less about her. The overall owner of the park, Simon, we talked a little bit about him.
Miss Ronnie.
Just Miss Ronnie, yeah, I couldn't say his name correctly. But yeah, I actually liked him quite a bit. He's the fun boss. Like he likes to be interactive with the people in the park. He's making sure that people are having fun. He's not just that cranky like businessman being like, it's all about the money.
Right.
It's like, I don't care what you do as long as you give us money. No, he actually cares if people have an enjoyable experience at the park.
Well, once again, that's so much like what Hammond was like too. Hammond wanted to, just have people enjoy and like learn about dinosaurs, and I think he was very invested in that idea. And Ms. Ronnie, just like what Chris Pratt's character was saying, he wanted to teach people humility. It's about acknowledging how new humans are to the planet, basically, and how you don't. The key to life is to acknowledge that you're not actually in control, basically, and like that was the whole point of Jurassic World. So I love how they were so much alike. They weren't only friends, but they had the same ideologies. So in that sense, Jurassic Park probably would have been just like Jurassic World if it had opened. So anyway.
Yeah. See, we have the assistant to Claire, Vivian.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Vivian. She was just pretty much the babysitter to the kids.
Yeah. She's like the lawyer.
The lawyer, yeah, pretty much.
Kind of.
Yeah. There's not really much to her character,
Yeah.
and bad stuff happens to her later on, which we'll get to. But she was fine. Jake Johnson as Laurie, he was pretty hilarious in this movie. He was pretty much the comic relief of the film, and being part of the technicians for the park. I like his banter with Claire. And he's the OG Jurassic Park fan. He's wearing the t-shirts and having the toys on his desk. And Claire's all like, why are you representing that thing? We're not supposed to represent that because bad stuff happened. But yeah,
it's in poor taste.
It's in poor taste, yeah. I get why, but it's like, we're all thinking in the back of our minds Jurassic Park is still better. But
Right. Because those are like partially real dinosaurs who didn't have these monsters that Jurassic World was creating.
But I thought he was pretty good. I even didn't care for the actor before this, Jake Johnson. Like he's okay, but kind of like Judy, there's this some comedic stuff that he's in that I just didn't care for. But this one I surprisingly thought he was funny. Omar Sy. Most people probably don't know who he is. He's Bishop in X-Men Days of Future Past, and he's pretty much the person who worked with Chris Pratt with the Raptors and stuff like that. Once again, didn't have a whole lot to do, but when he was there, I liked him. I wish he had more lines to do. B.D. Wong, as we said, returned in this movie. He was one of the scientists from the first film, so it was a nice little touch there to have more characters come back for this one, but he's the only returning character from the original movies. So I was like, but okay. But surprisingly enough, he plays more of a factor towards the end, and probably setting up for Fallen Kingdom.
It's like the corrupt side of Engine.
The corrupt side of Engine. So I'm glad they gave him more of a role there, and I hope we see it more, fleshed out in Fallen Kingdom. But I thought it was good. There's one character in this movie that I didn't like at all, and that's Hoskins, played by Vincent D'Onofrio.
I'm not supposed to like him though.
Yeah, I get it, but he was annoying. He was really annoying. Every time he just kept nagging everyone about, what we can do with these dinosaurs. We can weaponize them for the army. You're not realizing the true potential of training these dinosaurs. We could be more than just this park. Come on, Owen. Let's do it. And Owen's just like, no, man, I'm not. No.
You can't control that.
You can't control him. But yeah, it's just. He just got on my nerves, and we know he's probably I thought he was going to be more of the setup of Fallen Kingdom, but surprisingly he dies towards the end. Spoilers. But he was just annoying. And it's funny because Vincent D'Onofrio is a great actor. He was in Men in Black. He was in the Daredevil TV show. He was great as Kingpin. So I'm like, I just didn't care for him in this movie, and I was surprised. It got distracting how much he was pulling up his belt buckle every scene. I'm just like, someone fix that? What's up with the costume designers? You're just letting them pull this thing up. Well, they thought, that'd be part of his character. He's just like,
right.
I'm gonna pull my belt
I'm
up.
all macho. I know.
I'm all macho and stuff like that. And then his gut is all hanging out. But I'm like, no, that was distracting.
I thought it was very, I think different. I think I liked Hoskins as a character. I hate Hoskins, but I love how he was portrayed. Yes, exactly. Because he was so, because he was pulling up his belt buckle and everything. He was all macho and standing up straight and everything. He was so opinionated, and no one could change his mind about setting the raptors free. Using the Indominus, he was talking about fraction of the size used for war and everything, and it's just his ideology, war is a struggle, and struggle breeds greatness, and so it's it's just his huge ego and opinion that really got me. I hated it, but it worked so well as an antagonist, I think.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about the monstrosity in this film, the Indominus Rex.
Oh my God.
So the marketing campaign did a great job not showing what he looked like, and they just showed his snout and stuff like that. They left a surprise for the film.
Yeah. With the shadow.
With the shadow and his little. That actually was terrifying when I saw it in the trailer. I'm like, everyone's a she, I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I found teasing her was it was quite clever, and it was terrifying at the time. And overall, I do like the Indominus Rex, and she had some really, really good scenes, really awesome, killing humans and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of surprises with this Indominus that I did not see coming in the theater. My only problem with the Indominus Rex is, why did they make this thing? This is the most dangerous creature you could have ever created.
That was the idea. They wanted to scare people to get more people to buy stuff.
Yeah, because apparently people were bored of the dinosaurs from the park. That's pretty much the premise of it. While the park is up and running, it's been up and running, I guess, for a while. People are starting to get bored, and so the people at Jurassic Park in Claire decided to get Engine to get a bunch of DNA and traits from other animals and other dinosaurs to create one giant super hybrid monster to get the ratings. Okay, I get the mindset on it, but I just have so many questions. First of all, how are people bored of dinosaurs? How is that even possible? They are dinosaurs. You have people every year, every month, come to Disney World's Animal Kingdom and see the animals there, and they never get bored. They come every year. But you're telling me that people are getting bored of dinosaurs? I'm sorry, that's kind of a stretch to me, that they have to go to this extreme to get ratings. No. And then second of all, when creating this dinosaur, I get you want to make it look cool and have different abilities, but do you understand the risks that you're taking when putting all this dangerous stuff in this dinosaur? It's literally, we were talking about this throughout the other reviews, but these movies are starting to become monster films. And this movie has become a monster film. It's a monster film. Because we focus so much on the Indominus. Yeah, the dinosaurs are there, but pretty much we're focusing on this Indominus Rex, and it's killing everything, including the other dinosaurs, and it's killing for sport. I don't understand their logic. And then when stuff goes wrong, of course stuff goes wrong, because the Indominus eventually gets smart enough to try to escape. This Indominus has so many abilities. It can camouflage.
Cuttlefish DNA.
Cuttlefish
right?
DNA, yes. It doesn't have stubby arms. It has opposable arms. It has long nails. It's able to sniff people out, and has super hearing. And I'm just, and apparently it gets smart enough to escape the cage that it's in. It turns into it can change its body temperature also.
And non-lethals do not work.
Do not work.
At all.
Oh my gosh. And it's just the humans are not taking the right, precautions to stop this Indominus. They're being so stupid. And when they're calling in Chris Pratt to stop this Indominus Rex, they're not listening to him. And they're just letting stupid stuff happen. Bryce is just like canceling him out, even though she personally asked him to check on this Indominus to see how dangerous this thing is. And pretty much Chris Pratt is laying it out there being like, you need to take this Indominus down. It has gotten to a point where no one is safe at the park. You have to put it down. But Bryce Dallas Howard's character is all like, no, we can't do that. It costs so much money. We can't do that. There has to be other ways. Right. No, literally, Chris Pratt is probably the smartest person in that film, being like, this Indominus was able to escape and outsmart the people holding them in the cage. And they're going after the Indominus with stunners. And they think that will stop it. No, and also it's able to claw out the tracker that they implanted in it. She remembered where they put the tracker in and just clawed it out.
Yes.
Clawed it out. I'm like,
very smart.
It's very smart.
Smart raptor.
Oh my gosh. And
smarter than primates, just like what Grant said.
Smarter than primates. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
We're going back to the dumb decisions that they're going in Lost World and Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why?
Yeah, I just think that Bryce Dallas Howard did such a great job with this part because there was so much character development in this. Like she had the exact opposite mindset as Chris Pratt's character. So, but then by the end, they were a team. Like they were together, like she understood it, especially at the part when they found the Brachiosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, I think that's when you could really tell that she had changed her mindset. She stopped looking at like what Chris Pratt said, she stopped looking at dinosaurs like numbers on a spreadsheet. They're alive,
Mm-hmm.
And she had this very human, corrupt ideology of make money. And so, and that's what she was talking to Ms. Ronnie about, when they're in the helicopter, she's, going over numbers and everything, okay, their satisfaction, guest satisfaction is in the low 90s, trying to tell him all this stuff, and Ms. Ronnie like wasn't having it, and he's like, but how are the dinosaurs? Is everybody having a good time? Once again, we're just trying to spread a message, and she's like, but we gotta make money.
Right.
The real reason to have a theme park is to make money, that's what she thinks. So, but you were talking about Animal Kingdom and how people don't get bored of Animal Kingdom. So why is it? At the same time, Animal Kingdom is half Animal Kingdom and half go to a different park and enjoy Epcot,
True.
So when I was working at Animal Kingdom, people did tend to get bored sometimes, and they would be like, we already saw all the animals, what else is there to do? And I'm like, there are rides,
Okay.
go, and I think that's what happens with zoos eventually. I feel like if Jurassic World were to open up in real life, we would eventually get bored after a few years of seeing the same dinosaurs just because they're not extinct anymore, so we want to see something new, something crazy, unpredictable, and
They definitely got it.
so, right, Verizon Wireless presents
Well, yeah, Verizon Wireless.
Yeah.
Jimmy Fallon product placement.
Jimmy Fallon.
Oh my gosh.
I love that. Oh my
that
God.
was a nice touch.
But
Yeah, I'm one of those people that don't complain about product placements.
Yeah.
You have to. That's how they do in real life. They have certain sponsors that they use to pay for the stuff that that they're selling. So that's fine as long as they don't go all in your face and be like, sell Transformers 4 with Bud Light. But I don't mind product placement like that when it's here and there. But so okay, I get it that Claire is supposed to be a satire on people that only care about the money and business aspect, and then you have the I forget his name again.
was Pratt's character?
Simon. Yeah, and then you have Simon's character, that's actually trying to. He's kind of the well, not as much as Hammond, but he's kind of like the Walt Disney, of this park,
kinda.
because he does care about the business stuff, but he does care about people enjoying stuff, so that's good. Okay, so going into the dinosaur stuff. So the Indominus, like I said, is killing for sport, and he's not even just eating the dinosaurs. He's just. I'm sorry. She. I keep forgetting. All the dinosaurs are she's. She is just killing them, snapping their necks, biting them. She's not even eating. She's just killing for sport.
Yeah.
And it eventually she's trying to make her way into the center of the park where all the people are. And so the guys working at the park are just scattering, trying to stop, to help get all the people to get out of the park or go to a safe part. And then it leads to a bunch of crazy dinosaur scenes. You have the Indominus chasing the kids in where all the plant eaters are in the orb, and freaking chasing them in the orb. There's a nice scene there. And then that was cool. And then
the gyrosphere.
The gyrosphere. That's what it's called. And then it leads to they have this dome at the park where they're holding a bunch of these pterodactyl monster hybrids. The aviaries. There's these two-headed pterodactyls, all this stuff. Where did this come from?
They have raptor, T-Rex heads. I know.
I'm oh my
that.
goodness, why weren't you using these to promote them instead of creating this Indominus? But I see they were there's just a bunch of them, and there was no way for you to keep them leveled at that park, I guess. So they just kept them in a dome somewhere. What were they gonna do with them? That was
the
insane.
Aviary. That's where people. It's like in Jurassic Park 3 when they were in the abandoned aviary.
Mm-hmm.
They built another aviary like that.
So yeah, eventually Simon likes to fly helicopters, so he flies a helicopter to stop the Indominus, but of course the Indominus makes the helicopter crash and in turn breaks the dome, and then all the pterodactyls escape from the dome and terrorize the people in the park. That scene was awesome. That was amazing. Going back to the babysitter, she's trying to, get the kids to safety, but two of the pterodactyls are picking at her and pulling her up, and then dropping her in the water, and then just picking at her and pulling her up. And then the giant sea monster gets and eats them all. That was insane. Oh my God, I was loving that. That was awesome, even though it was terrible.
Yeah.
What happened to that lawyer? But that entire sequence.
To that lawyer, to the assistant.
The assistant. I thought we called her a lawyer.
Lawyer-like.
Lawyer-like, but yeah, the assistant.
She's like the lawyer.
She's
in
like
the first
the lawyer,
one.
yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was terrible what happened to her. But that whole sequence with the pterodactyls terrorizing the people, that was amazing. That was something I wanted to see in Jurassic Park. If you're going to do monster stuff with this movie, this is how you do it. This is how you do it.
I give her a lot of credit too, because that actress did her own stunts. She wanted to do her own stunts. Like they didn't get a stunt double for her because she wanted to do it, and it was a really good, like, they're like dunking her in the water and she's like flailing around and everything. She did a really good job. She like showed up on set one day and she's like, "Are we gonna do the death stunt? Like, are we gonna do it?" And they're like, "Oh, you want to do?" So. But yeah, I give her so much credit because like it wasn't faked, it was her. So, fun fact.
Now, other thing I was kind of disappointed about this movie was the mix of practical effects and CGI. The practical effects were borderline non-existent except for a couple of scenes. There was this really nice practical effect with the Brachiosaurus when Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's character is going through the trail of dead dinosaurs left from the Indominus, and they see that the Brachiosaurus is struggling for her life, but she's slowly dying, and that was a really nice scene.
I cried.
Yeah, you cried. Oh, yeah. It was such a nice throwback to in the first scene when they saw that the Triceratops was dying, and they were just putting their head on the Triceratops. That was a very nice scene. Like the charms, the warm-hearted stuff.
It was so much humility in
so
both
much
scenes.
Humility.
Yeah.
And there was some scenes with the raptors where they were holding them in cages and stuff like that, and they did have practical raptors there, but they had CGI enhancements over it where they made the raptors blink and shake a little bit. That's a nice molding there. It's like that one didn't take me out completely. That's a good way to blend stuff, but those two parts were the best mix of CGI and practical in the whole movie, because the CGI, sometimes it was really good and sometimes it was so bad. And I almost want to say there's some CGI in this movie that was the worst I've seen in this franchise. Oh my God, what were they doing? They were not consistent at all. Like, there are scenes with the Indominus where the CGI looked really great, and there were some fight scenes that were really cool towards the end that was good. But then there was just, when they were just interacting with the dinosaurs in the park and stuff like that, it looked so bad, like something out of a video game. I was just like, oh my gosh, this came out over 13, 15 years after the first film. The first Jurassic Park still has the best CGI and practical effects. What happened? What is going on?
Come closer into the shot.
Huh?
There you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
You're like,
guys.
I'm walking out.
I was borderline walking out. I'm like, what is going on? But yeah,
Shannon's taking over.
Shannon's taking over.
Anyway.
But I don't know what was going on there. They were just like all over the place. Yeah, I don't know. But
I mean, a lot of the raptor scenes were people, like they were just guys that they put like a raptor helmet on, and they were able to like interact with those guys who were acting like raptors and everything. So if you've ever seen like that, I think that's like all over the internet, so if you haven't seen how they actually filmed it, you should like go check it out, because it's like really interesting.
Yeah,
and it gives you a lot of respect for those actors, because I would have been laughing my head off. But it is really tough to be serious and to be terrified of these guys in gray suits just with a raptor head on. So like it's really it was really cool to be able to see that. Especially if you're an aspiring actor, that's how you do it. So
Exactly.
Practice that, like
Practice that, you know. Man in suit.
practice that mindset.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, for sure.
Talk more about the Raptors. Talk about Chris Pratt. You have him as pets. Hello. Anyway,
Series going nuts.
theory's going nuts. But yeah, so having Chris Pratt train these Raptors, I thought it was going to be completely ridiculous in the movie. There was some ridiculous stuff in there still, but they actually made it kind of tangible, because like the Raptors aren't completely like dogs or anything. It's like they're not completely loyal to Chris, because there were certain instances where they remind us that these are still cold-blooded killers. Like when one of the trainees was trying to feed the Raptors and he accidentally falls into the place where the Raptors were. The Raptors were about to eat them, but Chris Pratt had to like go and be like, no. But the Raptors were testing Chris Pratt's patience. They were like, ah, but Chris Pratt like, I said no.
Yeah.
And it's like they didn't just stop there and just go away. They literally he was literally stalling, because like to give the trainee time to escape, and then Chris Pratt had to escape himself from the Raptors and shut the cage door. So I'm so glad they still reminded us that these are still dinosaurs and they will still eat you at any time. But
Yeah.
Chris Pratt has made a system with the Raptors enough to be able to hold them and not, have them go crazy. So, and have a sense of trust, especially with Blue.
Mm-hmm. Well, even the Indominus convinced them to turn on, like all four of them turned on him, like after like a 10-second conversation with the Indominus. Like it's once again explaining how it's chaos there. You can't control everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
But going to that. So they tried to hunt down the Indominus, and Chris sends all four of the Raptors. They have them smell a part of the Indominus, and they have them track where the Indominus is, and Chris Pratt's riding on the bike along with the Raptors. We've seen all the memes and the jokes being like, oh my gosh,
Good
why are they
CGI
doing
there.
that? Was good CGI there. Yeah, that was good. Wish it was throughout the entire movie, but yeah, that was I actually thought that was a badass scene. When I was laughing at it in the trailer, I'm like, oh my god. But that was pretty cool. So yeah, they get to, like as we talked about a second ago, they get to the Raptor, and we're thinking, oh, this is gonna be this huge Raptor fight with the Indominus. But we do find out that the Indominus is part Raptor.
Finally explains so much.
Yes.
So how smart the Indominus is and everything.
Now, at the time, in the theater, I was caught up with all the emotions and stuff like that, so I didn't realize at the time it would be part Raptor. And also throughout the entire movie, they don't address what they put in this Indominus. Like, they're keeping it a secret for some reason, even though a bunch of bad stuff happened, and they still want to keep it a secret. Anyway, so at the time, I didn't realize when I was analyzing, looking at what the Indominus looked like. If you really think about it, it really looked like a giant raptor. And they were trying to make it like this big surprise when the Raptors went to the Indominus. It's like, I think it's part raptor. Even though it looks like a raptor, acts like a raptor, is as smart as a raptor, it's part raptor.
But still, how that line was like, I guess we should have seen it coming. Like, it was a huge obvious, but for some reason, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming when I saw it in the theater, but when I'm watching it now, I'm like,
right?
yeah, it's part raptor. It looks like a raptor.
When he says that line, that, like, when he, like, looks up at it and he goes, that thing's part raptor. Like, I literally, in the theater, I was like, like choking on popcorn, like, oh, what, like, I was like, oh my god, like, shaking my brother. Like,
yeah, me too. I'm like, oh my gosh.
There's so many things that you just feed into. It's so easy to play along with this movie. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah. So that's why, it feels like it's homaging and a love letter to Jurassic Park, because even though there's some stuff that you feel like, oh, there's a dog there. Hello, dog. But anyway, even though there's stuff in the movie that you feel like, it's kind of dumb, and it's like you're kind of, forcing stuff in there, you're along with the ride because you're enjoying the experience, and you're along with these characters, and there's cool moments. Like, there's this sense of wonder. That's why we're able to, let certain stuff slide. Now, let's get to the best part of this movie, at least in my opinion, towards the end. Yep, when the Indominus and is confronting Bryce Dallas Howard's character and Chris Pine's character, and it's like Bryce Dallas Howard goes to a part of the park, and it's like he orders what's
Larry?
Laurie's character, Larry's character. So he was Laurie. It's literally looks like Laurie, but I guess it's Lowry. But yeah, so he's staying at the part of the the engineer room to make sure stuff's going okay. The control room to make sure it's good there. So she runs to Paddock 9. He orders Laurie to open Paddock 9. Now, keep in mind, there's a certain dinosaur in this movie that they didn't really show throughout the entire film, and I was wondering, just briefly, and I was like, oh my God, are we not gonna get this dinosaur in the movie? I would be really mad, especially the crap that you gave us in Jurassic Park 3, not to give us this dinosaur barely to not at all. I would be really pissed, and I would probably walk out the theater. But no, they were saving it for last. She orders Lowry to open Paddock 9. She has a flare. She ignites the flare. And you see the glow in the eyes. And what comes out of the shadows, out of the paddock, it's the mother effing T-Rex. Yes. So she uses the flare to have the T-Rex follow her and run to where the Indominus is. Okay, before we get to the exciting stuff, there's one other dumb thing I want to acknowledge. Why is she running in high heels?
Okay, I did research on this because I was intrigued.
Why? And she was running through puddles and didn't trip one time. Either she's really trained to run on high heels, or that is some stupid stuff that you just let through. Colin, what in the world? Please explain.
First of all, she was running in high heels all day. I don't know if you have ever experienced, whoever's watching this, I don't know if you've ever experienced walking in high heels all day, but she was running in high heels all day. So it's like that, you want to chop off your feet by that. In my personal opinion, I cannot go anything more than 5 hours, and my feet are toast. But the thing is that okay, so people have done research on it, and from what I know, I'm not a paleontologist, so I'm not a T-Rex expert, but from what I know, T-Rexes can run up to about 13 miles an hour, I think. So if she's sprinting, she can technically outrun the dinosaur, but not in high heels. So realistically, it probably wouldn't have happened, especially because she didn't give herself enough of a head run. She was holding out the flare like this,
and the T-Rex was right behind her.
And he was raw, the Jeep, showing up in the rearview mirror, raw, But once again, I allowed that to happen only because that scene is so amazing.
Yeah, what comes right after, I'm like, I forget about it for a second. Right,
exactly. And I think it's because, I think we've been chasing around the Indominus for so long that we have a huge Jurassic World feel. So it's a very modernized Jurassic World feel. And we start to drift away from Jurassic Park and drift away from the roots. So once we get to that moment where the Jurassic Park theme song comes on and it's slow and you hear the boom, boom, and you see the flare that was once again a huge item that was in the iconic Jeep scene.
Yeah.
It's just there's so many things that are so iconic that fit so well in Jurassic Park that they put into that one scene in Jurassic World that I'm getting chills just thinking about it, because it's once again, it's back to the Jurassic Park roots. That is what saves the day for these characters in Jurassic World. So it's really cool how they were okay, there's this big modernized Jurassic World problem. How do we fix it? Bring in the iconic Jurassic Park character, the T-Rex. So it's that's what was really cool. So
it could have been an easy thing to fix. Just if she just put on some flip-flops or slippers,
put on some tennis shoes
or something.
Crocs,
it's easy to fix. She could have just stopped and be okay, let me put on some shoes real quick. But no. But anyway, regardless of that, so we get to the scene. So she freaking throws the flare at the Indominus, and I was like, what? And then here comes the T-Rex, crashes through that Spinosaurus skeleton, like, here's where it's at. T-Rex just enormously just roars and goes, I'm here. Come get some. You about to get these hands. It's the Indominus versus the T-Rex, the proper fight we should have gotten in 3. It was the most glorious thing I've ever seen. Godzilla fighting King Kong. That was so freaking amazing. Go ahead.
Exactly. But once again, the T-Rex is not really a match for. Realistically, the T-Rex is not really enough of a match for the Indominus, which is part raptor, part T-Rex. So not only does it have like T-Rex, like, you know, in its blood and knows what the T-Rex is probably thinking and about to do. So, of course, the one answer to the whole thing to like save the T-Rex would have to be the last standing raptor.
Blue. He just comes in, charging, triumphant. She. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not sexist, I promise. But anyway, Blue charges in and comes in and helps T-Rex right when the Indominus was about to snap his neck or something. And then it's a freaking double team with the T-Rex and the Raptor against the Indominus. It was just this awesome wrestling match. It was just amazing. I don't know how else to put it. This is great.
We can do a wrestling match review of Blue and the T-Rex.
Oh, he grabbed him by the neck and swung him by the building. Oh my God! Here comes the Raptor up to the top rope, slams on the Indominus. Oh my God!
The Indominus goes down.
Oh, double slam! Tag team move. Took the pin. 1, 2, 3. Actually, no, that's not exactly what happened. So they get the Indominus cornered by the lake, and some of us are thinking in the back of our mind, there's a certain dinosaur in the lake. So they push the Indominus in the lake, and then the Mosasaurus comes out of nowhere and it's like, the last dinner for the day. That was awesome.
For me, at that part, it was so funny because you were just saying, like, you know, some of us could have seen that coming. I didn't see that coming at all, only because I was playing the whole fight by ear. I was just like watching, like, moment by moment, going with the fight. So I wasn't thinking ahead. So I was like, they all started roaring at each other, and I'm like, what's gonna happen now? Like, you know, it's like the build up, and then all of a sudden, like,
the Mosasaurus just comes in.
Yes.
More teeth.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, finally, because the Indominus made me mad. I hate the Indominus,
is freaking psychopath. Makes the Spinosaurus in 3 look like a nun.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, I know certain people didn't catch on to the fact that, oh, it's by water, the Mesosaurus is probably there. I kind of catched on to it because I just love the Mesosaurus in the movie. So I was like, it would be so awesome if the Mesosaurus just came in and pulled the Indominus into the water, and that's exactly what happened. So, man, that was insanity. So after all that chaos happened, they gather all the people to this certain area in the park where they can leave with the helicopters or whatever, the boat, whatever, to get off of the island. And rescue ferries, right? And Wong also escapes the island with some of the DNA from the Indominus and the other stuff that's classified.
We don't know what happened to him. Like, that was like the last time we saw him was when he was taking off in the helicopter before Hoskins died.
Exactly. And so that's going to play more of a role in Fallen Kingdom, I'm sure. And then the movie just ends with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. They have that iconic silhouette shot that Spielberg does, you know, alluding to their relationship, hoping that they continue it on in the second film.
Doesn't Spielberg do that a lot, where it's like we can see part of it, but for some, well, the silhouette shot. There's also the shot in Jurassic Park where you know, Timmy falls off the fence and he's like covered by you know, like the branches, so we couldn't see Timmy. We could just see Dr. Grant. And then there was another shot where they were looking at the raptors in the raptor cage, that same movie, and the branches were like covering their faces, so you couldn't really see their faces. You could see just kind of like the action of the raptors, including. So I feel like Spielberg does a lot of the you can have an idea of what's going on, but you don't really see the main point of something, you know?
I
Like,
actually,
silhouettes.
never noticed that. I have to watch the Spielberg
Really?
films now and point that out. That wasn't really something I
I don't. It was just a theory of mine. I'm not sure if it's like actual something that everybody else noticed, but I don't know. I think my mom pointed it out to me one time, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna track that. But
And then the movie, the tail end of the movie is the T-Rex walking on this cliff or whatever on the helicopter port, and turns around, and there's the sunset, and the T-Rex just roars, and then blackout. What a beautiful way to end the film. Oh. I enjoyed this movie.
there's no other way to end that film.
Yeah, this just perfect way to end the film with
That's
the
how-
T-Rex roaring.
Is that how all of them end?
No, because the first one ended with leaving in the helicopter. The second one ended with the Triceratops roaring. The third
Oh,
one
yeah.
ended with the pterodactyl in the second film was roaring, and then the third film was the pterodactyl flying off to wherever, and
Yeah.
then this one ended with the T-Rex roaring.
Okay, so once again, it just alluded to the first movie only, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That part.
Yep. So overall, this movie was pretty good. This one felt the most like the sequel to the Jurassic Park that I wanted. This captured the magic and the essence of what the first film was. The characters, for the most part, were likable. There was some amazing dinosaur scenes. I do still have some issues with some dumb decisions and explaining how the park came into fruition a little bit more, and the CGI was bipolar as hell. But this did its job, as we said. Just being a fun dinosaur film.
There were so many advertisements.
Yeah, there's a lot of advertisements.
But
That's how it is with parks and promoting stuff. That's how it is. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie quite a bit, and I give it a solid B.
B.
A B, yeah.
What?
I give it a B because, like, she is mad at me. A B? A B?
That's like a professor were to like grade my essay and just say, I think you just need a little bit more evidence, so I'm gonna give you a 2.7. Like, what?
But no, a B is still a good. It's a good grade. A B is still a good
It
grade.
can't be right.
But-
That's an 80% at
Yeah,
the least.
this
Like
movie
an 85%
feels like
at the most.
This movie feels like an 80 to 85% because, like I said, while I did enjoy parts of this movie, and there's some good dinosaur and character moments, there was still some dim-witted stuff with the plot and the characters, and the CGI was so bad.
The
and then
ducks are so mad at you. They're coming at you.
like, get back here! You know I'm right. You know I'm right. And,
Oh my gosh.
but really, I just feel that's why I said that this was a hard time for me to put my thoughts together with this film, because there's stuff that I love and there's stuff that I think just, what the hell are you doing? So it's a middle ground for me, but enough to be like, I will watch this movie again, and I don't think this is a bad movie. It's just not a great movie to me. I hope Fallen Kingdom will be better, but I don't know. We'll see. But Shannon, what do you give Jurassic World?
I would give it at the least an A minus.
Oh,
like a 93% at the least.
Yeah,
Like
90 I mean, that's fine.
Wait, you know what? Actually, scratch that. I give it a solid A because it turned my brother into a 6-year-old boy in the movie theater again, and he was like 20 at the time. So that's not easy, and I'm very grateful to be able to have my old little brother back. Even though he's my older brother. But
Right, just to see him turn to a kid again.
yeah, it was that's what movie magic is about, escaping into this new world, and I don't know, just seeing things and through a different perspective, getting new ideas, and just kind of enveloping yourself into a different reality, just convincing yourself that this is the reality now and not actual reality, you know, like that's the idea of movie magic. And I think it did a really good job with that. And I saw it with the audience when I went to see it. So like, I think, yeah, good job. I give it an A because of that.
Awesome. Awesome stuff. But that's how we feel about Jurassic World. What did you guys think about Jurassic World? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys think it was okay? Or did you guys think it was just good?
It.
No, I know some people that hate Jurassic World.
I want to talk to them.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think this movie deserves hate. You know, yeah, there's some stuff they could improve, but I think it was an enjoyable movie. I don't understand the hate for it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up down below. Comment your thoughts, and you go ahead and subscribe to my channel and
leave a like if you're going to see Jurassic World this weekend.
Yeah, Fallen Kingdom. Yeah, go ahead and hit that thumbs up if you're going to go see it. Yeah, just don't forget to subscribe to be updated on future videos I'll be doing, and don't forget to subscribe to Shannon Geoffrey's channel where she does awesome skits. It's very funny stuff. So we're all caught up now, so the next video we'll be doing is Fallen Kingdom. So thank you guys as always for watching, and I will see you guys, and we will see you guys, I'm sorry, in the next video. Talk to you guys later.